Hey everybody, this is Brad from Raw Dogs. So this is going to be our part 2 of our Diablo series. Now, this was recorded a while back. This has been a Patreon exclusive for a while. So when we recorded this was before all of the debacle with Activision Blizzard. So if you're looking for any information on any of that, that will not be in this episode. We do cover Diablo 3. We cover the mobile game. We talk about the future of the Diablo series. What at least we thought it was back then. So if you wish to have access to some of our extra podcast episodes ahead of time, check us out on Patreon. Otherwise, enjoy this part 2 of our Diablo series where we discuss a whole bunch of lore, and I guess we sort of anticipate some of the debacle that's coming. But yeah, please enjoy the show, and thanks for checking this out. You can stick it in your stash.
Stay a while and listen.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Raw Dogs. I'm your level 28 barbarian. This is Brad.
This is your level 88 Trapezon, and also known as Nick in this realm.
In this realm.
This is your level 70 witch doctor, David Jones.
Goddamn summoner necromancer all the way. Whatever level you can be. Hot damn.
99.
And does this necromancer have a name?
Nate.
Nathan. No, Nathaniel, actually.
Face for radio.
I was hoping to get your character name. Just
Oh, it's glass jaw. I got a bad jaw. It's been broken a few times.
Made of glass.
Yeah, it's not the band like everybody asks. It's the fact that my jaw can't take a slug.
COVID.
Yes, we are a podcast about video games and beer, and we're talking. This is part 2 of our Diablo podcast series. If you are a Patreon supporter, you're getting this the same day if Brad's efficient, and otherwise it's the next day. And if not, you're getting this at some other point. Thank you to Ryan for sending us delicious beers and telling us, hey, it'd be cool if you talked about Diablo.
Ryan, thank you for sending us to hell.
Yeah, to the frozen hells. And Texas is a frozen hell as well right now. And that'll give you, if you're not a Patreon supporter, now you know when this came out, because Texas is a frozen hell.
Too real, Brad.
Too real. We're drinking from B52 Brewing. This is the Smoothie Tart. It is a cranberry orange crumble sour, which sounds very fun.
Frisky.
So, cheers, boys.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Well,
Air clink.
I got a beard hair on the bottom of my glass.
yum.
Oh, it smells good.
By the way, I know all of our listeners are curious. Brad's beard is just as magnificent as usual.
That's Deckard Cain's.
It really is.
Who goes down like a little bitch in Diablo 3.
Very
really
much
does.
so.
He's a punk.
An excellent kickoff.
Diablo 3 is a game.
It's a game.
Diablo
That's
3,
the best way we could describe
Diablo
it.
3 is a game. Okay. Released 2012, May 15th for PC and Mac. It came to the PS3 and the 360 in 2013 in September, and 2014 for the Xbone and the PS4. Like we said in the previous episode, the development began in 2001, was completely scrapped around 2005. Announced June 2008 was that they announced Diablo 3 is coming.
Yes.
And Diablo 3 is a very polarizing game. And to me, it suffers from the same things that like a Skyrim suffers from, where it's a game that, like Morrowind, people are crazy about because of the level of customizability, because of the immersive nature of the experience. And what gradually happens when something is popular is the later iterations need to be more accessible.
Yes.
They need to be easier to digest for new consumers, because they want everyone to play it. They don't just want the hardcores to play it. And Diablo 3, I would have been very curious to see what Brevik and them would have done, because Diablo 3, as someone this is the only one that I've really played, but I've read all the lore and I'm familiar with the gameplay. From what I've seen, they take the gameplay and dumb it down quite a bit.
Yep.
And it's fucking just a nostalgia machine. The fact that you're in New Tristram, here's Adria, here's Deckard Cain.
To be fair, you go to Tristram every game.
Yeah.
That is something that like that theme is a through line. But yeah, I mean as somebody who adored and wasted too many hours on Diablo 2, going in fresh on Diablo 3, the release of the game, I got through 2 acts of it, and mid third act, I was just like, this isn't fun. It's not the Diablo I remember. I feel locked in. You have like 3 options every skill.
Yep.
Well, and so you were playing vanilla D3, which I know they tried to address a lot of the issues which people had.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe halfway through Act 2, and it's very fun and very mindless. So I am playing on normal because I'm a very, as Dylan would say, a cuck.
Are you playing hardcore, Brad?
No, I'm just playing normal because I'm like, I just need to see as much of this game and kind of get familiar with it.
Sure.
And yes, there's a cat on Nate's lap, and he is not sure what to do about it.
One of our co-hosts is being held captive by Marty.
I don't think Martin likes me.
No, I mean, it's always
Marty.
dangerous when Martin sits on a lap if you're
It's
not sure if he likes you.
Martin is very much a cat of cats. He is okay one moment and he is teeth deep in you the next.
He's using you as a chair. He doesn't hate you right now. He's just using you as a chair.
I have been claimed.
You have been claimed. So yeah, Diablo 3, even before it came out, people were protesting, like doing petitions. They said the art style, they're like, this doesn't look like Diablo.
Yeah.
It looks like a goddamn fireworks show at a music festival.
Yeah.
Which it does.
There was a lot of that. I take a little bit of pensions with the new Witch Doctor class too.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. It felt like Necromancer Light, and where's the Necromancer? Like
Rise of the Necromancer comes out. They make you buy the Necromancer.
For $20.
Yeah.
And it's still
That's how it
$20,
is.
and it's just the Necromancer, and like, here's some new armor. I'm like, don't count that as part of your expansion. That's just new armor. Essentially, you're just buying the character class.
yeah. Blizzard, stop it.
Well, I mean, this isn't the original team. This is now in the hands of people that like, what is the best way to monetize the shit out of this? And all right, let's just talk about the auction house.
Yes,
Because this was
you've been waiting for this.
This is pain to me.
there's the thing with online games of this nature where if there is any sort of a trade system, an online system where people can interact, there will be money handed out, if not in an official capacity, on another website.
Yep.
And they made the decision, which also it's a good decision financially for them, to like, if someone's got to try and regulate it, I mean, we're the ones best equipped. We're just going to take like real cash was used. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
In-game economies are super dangerous in multiplayer games. That's just a fact. There will always be somebody with a little bit too much money in their pocket willing to spend money on their hobby, and that immediately destroys any sort of balance that the developers have worked years for.
So in the relative scale of like economy, like you can't just make a free market economy in a game in which it doesn't use a modern currency and just expect it to work. Like it doesn't work in modern society. How do you expect your small scale thing to work in general? And it just is painful that they think that a bunch of software developers are like, oh, we're just gonna create this open market economy and it'll just be fine. Like everything will just be fine. It's like they're software developers.
From my small understanding as a little Nintendo player, this was one of the first experimentations with like a real money auction house economy for a game like that was implemented into the systems that I know of.
First like official one, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like at least in AAA, well-known, immediate, you're going to have a market type of market. You know, Eve was something that kind of developed into itself, whereas they implemented this right away. They knew what they were doing. They were putting this in place to have it in place, and it didn't work.
Okay, so you're in control of the economy. You also are in control of the loot that drops and like how regular certain items are going to be there. And I guess that was another big issue when Diablo 3 came out was there was way too much loot dropping, but none of it was good loot.
It still is. There's still just so much useless legendaries that just do nothing. And
To be fair, that was Diablo 2.
that was Diablo.
I think that's a common.
To be
game
fair,
problem.
Diablo 2, you had this outside real money auction house sort of.
Because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen no matter what. You're going to go outside the bounds of the game to buy the best best gear.
That's what you use your money
Best
for.
beer you can.
Best beer too. But,
Not quite life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and I think the huge reason why it happened is that Blizzard was trying to learn from what happened with World of Warcraft's gold economy, because I mean, if people don't know about that, have you been living under a rock? There are literally actual like
Gold farmers.
companies that have people put into what are telemarketing situations, except all they do is run routes in World of Warcraft and make money and then sell it. Like and Blizzard, what I think I'm just playing devil's advocate here, was trying to minimize a lot of that, or at least control it.
It's like we need to regulate it. We want to be in control of it. We're gonna make money off.
We want
That.
money off it. It's greedy.
Corporate America is a thing.
I think it's option number 3.
Corporate America is a thing.
And options 1 and 2 are really good excuses for 3.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, even controlling global economies in exchange rates and things like that is super hard. What do you think creating essentially a new Bitcoin is going to do? Like, I mean, people are...
All you got to do is be Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Well,
Dogecoin.
I saw a great like example of what it's like with having Dogecoin, and Elon Musk tweets, and it's like a roller coaster that goes like a little kid roller coaster, just goes up and down a lot. And that's all it is.
I am planning on designing a app that just alerts me of whenever he tweets about anything on the stock market,
Just
so that I can just
buy-
real quick invest and then a half an hour sell.
False
The moment,
information.
yeah.
man.
To the moon.
I know.
You're getting played.
So yes, the auction house was a big botch. From all accounts, the loot system, and it's bad now, but initially, I guess it dropped a shit, like way more bad loot. And I was listening to some other podcasts earlier, and they said I played the vanilla game for a couple years, and as far as good loot, I only got like 2 or 3 pieces, which is going to drive up the value of all the good loot.
Yep.
And they're going to make more money off of it, which it's beneficial to them.
Again, it goes back to something where I had earlier talked about Path of Exile, where like the economy scale for a free game compared to that loot like drives you to buy stuff because you're like, I'll support the game. But Diablo 3 being a already like standard priced game is like, shit, like, do I really want to start plugging more money into this, especially knowing that expansions are coming down the road and DLC? It's like starting to feel like kind of you're draining me a little bit.
I am a gamer that will ferociously support studios that I believe in. I have already bought Baldur's Gate 3, and it is the most unfinished game I've ever played.
Yeah.
But I will happily keep on crushing on that, because if I can help elevate that game to what I know it can be, heck yes. I know Larian Studios is fantastic. I love their work. Their Divinity series is fantastic.
As long as it's properly being said, like we're just playing an alpha, like the game's not ready, and it's not early access, full game.
Citizen.
Larian is notorious for saying their game is going to be ready when it's ready.
Oh, I'm so excited for Elden Ring, and I'm loving that they're not telling me about it because that means that they are being smart about it.
Yeah.
As well as Breath of the Wild. Pass on this conversation.
Yes.
Diablo 3, when it was released, massive fucking success because it's Diablo. What was it, Error 37, where servers crashed almost immediately on release. Yep. And then we want to talk about other issues. We're going to have always online DRM, which killed an entire Xbox system.
Awful.
Yep.
It's a way for them to try and regulate hackers, modders, cheaters by you always have to be online. But for a single player experience, you're still being forced to always online. And
it's just not, it's not okay. I mean, look at what happened to SimCity 2. Like it is time and time again that developers try and put out games like this, or honestly, it's studios. That's not a way that single player games function. People want that to be a thing that they just have. And I know plenty of people who are not full conspiracy theorist, but enough where it's like, I don't want to be online all the time. I don't want that to be like a thing that is like trackable or like.
And apart from even that aspect, some people's like, my internet's down.
Yeah.
I just want to play my fucking single player game. And for a single player game to need to be online is still offensive today.
Yes.
And everything is always online now. And still, it's like, you don't need to know what I'm doing if I'm playing Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to. And man, this was an issue as well. Diablo 3 had apart from being extremely successful on release, everyone was upset.
Now, I was upset.
There's a universal head nod around the table.
It was definitely one of those things where like it just didn't feel like a finished game, and it didn't feel like the game that I wanted to buy. It was well, and you said it very well, Brad. Of just it changed so much to welcome newcomers to the game that it alienated
hardcore
yes.
OG players.
100%. They tried to make the game easy and more, playable for everybody, but that just totally alienated everybody else who was the core fan base of Diablo 1, Diablo 2.
You didn't need to search for a larger fan base.
No. And some of the other things, like they took out skill trees, at least from my experience with the console, I don't have to change anything about the way I play. When I level up or get new skills, it automatically puts stats in, which I don't mind. I don't mind that. If I'm just trying to have like a quick game.
Yeah.
And I know too much about Tyrael that I just enjoy watching Tyrael. And that's fine. And I eventually go into my skills at some point because consoles have a limited number of buttons. And I'm like, okay, this one can cause bleeding on this hit.
Yep.
I'm someone at least aware enough as a console gamer that will experiment, but a lot of people will never change their core abilities and still play through the game.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we're shitting all over this, but I've enjoyed every moment I've put into Diablo 3 so far.
Diablo 3 is very stuck in the meta of there is a specific build that works for a specific class, whether it's, the Bone Spear Necromancer or the Whirlwind Barbarian.
Yeah.
There is a very set of skills with a set of runes that are going to be good. You're going to push the leaderboards because that's what it's all about now. It's all about hitting the highest greater rifts and getting it the fastest, getting to the, top 100 of the leaderboards in the world. If you have to have these skills, you have to have these runes on these skills, you have to have these, this set weapon. You have to, it's all very meta and it's not very creative anymore.
I've heard from some people critiquing the fact that, okay, so this game does a lot of the leveling for you. And I know a lot of people with Diablo 2, they just read about certain builds online. They're like, ooh, I like this build. So they're actually just kind of doing a little bit more manual work to pursue a build somebody else kind of designed.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. Like, it's still fun to go in there and, like, I'm understanding what makes this build unique. And just knowing that I'm putting these different, like, attributes and, like, runes or whatever, it's fun seeing the system work.
And it is fun just to like just blow shit up.
Yeah.
You just go through, you speed through and just blow up some demons, and that's
it
at the end of the day, that's what's fun.
It is instantly rewarding, and we made the joke earlier about it looking like a fireworks show at a music festival, because it's got that need to constantly give people like a little drip of happiness, of fun. And so when you kill something, when you blow up a trap, it's like it's like a Michael Bay film in a good way, though. It's like in not a bad way, because I don't think the game looks bad at all, and I've enjoyed.
No, and it plays fun. It does.
Yeah.
I would compare the way that you use ARPG and ARPG for Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 as Diablo 2 was little a capitalized RPG.
Yeah.
And Diablo 3 is capital A small RPG.
And yeah.
Like
even putting the RPG in there is probably being a little generous.
Yeah.
Fair.
Essentially just using you do have a level of customization if you are an old school player. Like, yes, I'm happy I unlocked this skill for my barbarian because I understand that this shout will be effective for this way.
Yeah.
But I've already gotten to the point where my second skills, I like being able to attack multiple enemies at once as my barbarian, and I also have a bleeding thing, so I can do multiple bleeding attacks. And then, like, I've fallen into what I'm comfortable with, and I'm happy with what's happening. But I've been too spoiled now by like Bloodborns and Celestes and stuff that like I need real gameplay.
It's become a click and point adventure in the like LucasArts games.
I feel no danger.
Unless you're playing hardcore.
I fought the butcher earlier and I didn't feel intimidated once.
No, exactly.
Because I'm like, Carly yells fresh meat all the time.
Sure she does, Brad. Sure she does.
She's like, I guess I have a hot dog.
That's actually literally what she says every time she walks in the door.
Hot dog. It's raw dog.
No.
So the vanilla characters too. The vanilla characters are
classic D&D.
They also
really
just
are.
They seem like they kind of just play like the D2 stuff. You have the barbarian, the big bad bashy person. The demon hunter is kind of like the Amazon
plus assassin or rogue.
D3.
Yep. Monk is going to kind of be like a paladin. Witch doctor is a necromancer, and the wizard is a sorceress.
Oh, you have crusader.
Yeah.
You have crusader who's like paladin.
We're probably talking
about monk is.
Well, no, you're talking about the Reaper of Souls. I'm talking about vanilla D3. So, and then they did patch in a Paragon system where after you reach the level cap, you're able to further customize and get points. But the biggest shift after Diablo 3 was Reaper of Souls, because it's that opportunity that every game has, like Destiny is notorious as well. No one likes what we released, and here's an expansion pack that will fix everything we can. And
we need Nolan North. We need Nolan North. He can fix this.
God damn it. Peter Dinklebot.
Peter Dinklebot.
Sorry, Dinklebot.
Does it ever actually?
By the way, Peter Dinklage, I do love you. I love a lot of your roles.
No, he's great. But Reaper of Souls releases March 25th, 2014. And it came out on the Switch actually in 2018, also with a unique console variant, which is kind of fun.
Also, if you get Diablo 3 on the Switch, you get a Ganondorf skin.
What?
Yeah, talking about cosmetics.
That is like the only cosmetic I'm interested in. Not
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh, I got the Frostboner armor. I'm like, no, just give me the Ganondorf skin.
Yeah. I need that nose.
Yeah. I was going to make a Falcon Punch joke, but that is not the right character. It is a skin of him, but not the right character. Reaper of Souls comes out, and it comes with Loot 2.0 is what they call it, where they would have much less frequent loot drops with higher quality. They raised level caps, added a 5th act to the story, and they added a lot of replayability to the experience, where there's an adventure mode, which is the entire world is available with random quests, as well as seasons, which is something that might have seemed new at the time, but it is expected for online games at this point, where every so often there will be a new set of challenges, a new potential like quests, buff.
This was Blizzard doing it. They'd been doing WoW for a while.
So WoW had done this beforehand.
WoW, I mean, as far as WoW
Seasons?
goes,
They had seasons?
yeah, I mean, they have PvP seasons. They have major patches that introduce large sections and new raids, new instances. Genuinely, it is new content, but also it's like
it's essentially adding replayability to a single. This is still online in some ways, but like it's taking the same core experience and getting you to come back for different reasons, but it's really the same shit.
Yes.
You want opportunities for more loot, more points. Just the fact that like you've reached the max level. Here's 5 more levels. Come back for 5 more levels.
Well, it's appealing to people's competitive nature, which is.
If you've already put in 100 hours, like I'll put in 10 more.
But new season means a new leaderboard for people, means new loot. It's a new set for every class. It's a new gimmick. It's a new buff where you could have some effect if you go to a shrine or I think this year is a new cube slot or something like that. So it's really appealing to people's competitiveness where you're trying to be the top of the leaderboard. That's what every season is. So it's not so much new levels. It's more trying to be the leader of every season.
Yeah. It's I mean, and it absolutely is that like competitive nature. I used to do competitive like raids and stuff like that, and it was always a matter of like, yeah, after the first 10 times of doing a truly challenging thing, yeah, it's really rewarding. After your 40th time doing this thing, you're taxed, you're done. And then they introduced stuff like daily quests where, hey, just make sure you log in, kill 10
your
demons.
bounties.
Yeah, it's literally housework in my video game, which I go to video games to get away from my housework.
But eventually, I log into Destiny or I log into Halo Reach, and I need to get 25 kills with grenades, and I do it. And it's still fun, like, because,
the game tells you to.
What ultimately is the gameplay loop. And if the loop is satisfying and they trick me to keep playing it, I'm still having fun. And at least with
those engrams.
At least with online experiences, if you have a good set of homies you're playing with, that's the most important thing.
Yep.
The pros need the filthy casuals to still be in the game.
Yeah.
In order for it to fucking revolve. Like you can't just eliminate your casual players because then your pros are like, well we're not pros anymore. All the top tier.
But bottom tier pros become casuals though.
Yeah, filthy casuals need to be in the game because we need to prey upon these dudes. They're not good.
As somebody who recently played Halo Reach online, there's no casuals anymore, and it is tough for me.
I'm playing through the Halo.
Brad?
What is the
Master Chief Collection?
Yeah, Master Chief Collection.
It's very good.
My original friend from back in the day, and hot damn, it's taking forever, and it is harder than I remember. Holy shit.
Especially on Legendary. My God. They have really good playlists and stuff on there. But okay. Reaper of Souls introduced the Crusader, and then there was, of course, the Necromancer expansion as well. Some new characters. And they did have the Darkening of Tristram in 2016, which recreated the entire original game in the Diablo 3 engine, which is kind of fun.
That's cool. That's really cool, actually.
It is a good event. You get that filter and you go back to the events and you do have to go through all 16 levels of the
do you
cathedral.
fresh meat.
You do. There's a specific there is like a specific lead up to the butcher, and you do get the butcher, but it's just like you just smash through the butcher easily. It's not even fun anymore.
Yeah.
But atmospherically, it is still really cool. Like, it looks a little janky, and like, you know, the movement does look fun. Overall,
Diablo 3 is a beautiful game. And so I picked this up when I bought a PS4, the Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, because somebody told me to. And I played it for like 5-10 minutes, but I was in a different headspace of what gaming was, and I didn't understand having like, it's kind of isometric, but like the detached fixed camera, like this whole thing seemed a little less interesting to me. And after playing this for 5 hours, I know it shouldn't be playing on normal mode because it is boring without any challenge.
Yeah.
And I think this is the kind of thing that would always function better in a multiplayer capacity where you have different classes working together.
That's very important. And also Diablo, even at the level of 2, I don't know about 1, introduced a really interesting thing that if you had a friend join you and join your party, it scaled the difficulty.
Yep.
And now it's a little bit harder because there's 2 of you.
Yeah.
Which means that you gotta stick together because all of a sudden, all of these things have like health and a half.
And if you don't have, if the right character class isn't buffing, if the right one isn't doing
if you don't
this,
mesh together.
Yeah.
you have to play together.
Yeah. I'll always go back to that D&D inspiration because I truly believe that it took a lot from that of you need your party playing its roles. You need to be you can't have your cleric smashing and bashing 5 for my Dungeon and Dragon players now. 5e is different.
Dungeons and Dragons is like a very like slow chess game where everyone gets to think through their moves and take turns. But if you crank that shit up to like speed 100, it's very much like a multiplayer experience like this where everyone's got different classes and they're trying to make the right moves at the right time.
Let's not get into 5e.
So
I'd like not to.
So if you play with me, then because I'm like, all right, you have 6 seconds. Come on.
All right, some memories from Diablo 3. My brother said, when I first beat Diablo 3, my only complaint was how short it was, even with the different difficulty modes. I'm sure it's more fleshed out now. And he spelled fleshed weird, which I don't know if it was a joke about certain flesh things.
Ryan, you and I vibe.
That was my brother. My brother, Bryant.
Oh, Brian.
Not Ryan.
Sorry. Brian, you get me.
And Ryan says he remembers buying a new laptop so that I could play it day one, only to not be able to play it day one.
That was me all the way. Like, my friends and I all bought Diablo 3. I played Demon Hunter. I know one of my friends went Barbarian, another went Sorcerer. And, like, for whatever reason, I just kept getting that error code, like, as soon as we hit the Skeleton King in the first act.
That sucks.
And I was just like, fuck this game. I'm not doing this. But yeah, then we all took a break. I think I'm the only one probably still who even remotely plays. So it's just...
Well, and you just got it on the Switch.
Yeah.
So your Diablo 3 in handheld is, I imagine, a very beautiful thing.
It is. There's very little difference between getting it on TV and like docking the Switch versus just having it handheld. And it's great just because you're having this just real high gameplay loop where you can just mess around, do whatever, play these, generated dungeons, rifts, and just do whatever.
Yeah.
On the handheld.
Yeah. And I think Diablo 2 Resurrected will probably play really well on the Switch.
You just drop in and do whatever.
It depends on how, plus the Switch has a touchscreen that is rarely utilized.
Yeah.
I wish they included a stylus with the Switch because then you would
remind you to use it.
Because and Diablo is a point and click style RPG with like the Switch, you'd be able to like use a stylus, point at things, click spells. Like the Wii U was unfortunately better equipped because it includes some of that functionality. But
Blizzard's Switch porters, if you need us on staff at any point, you can get a hold of us where, Brad?
hairthedogcast@gmail.com. Honestly, we're easy to find, and we're desperate for attention.
Life.
Fresh meat.
Which translates across so many platforms now at this point, in like games and everything. Well done, Blizzard.
We love everything. And all of this being said, I have enjoyed my time, though, with Diablo 3. It is a pretty game, and as someone who's new to the series, just listening to Adria talk after reading 2 books about her is exciting. Yeah. I read an entire book from her perspective. And I was like, oh, you're Adria, who I read a book from.
It's
Deckard Cain did a rap. I'm like, I read his book. Like, if Kanye released a book that I read before I heard him rap, it wouldn't be as good as Deckard Cain's.
No, not even a chance.
No.
Not even a chance.
Diablo 3 is very much the casual player who's like heard about Diablo. Either they were too young, their parents wouldn't let them get Diablo 2. They were like, it's got the devil in it. They saw Diablo 3 and they were like, yeah, we'll do it. Drop it. And now super hyped for Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Diablo 2 Resurrected. Diablo 3 just received an update yesterday or today. Mostly just for new cosmetic items to purchase, but it's on like season 20 something or other, and
22.
22.
Yep.
So tell me about your experience with the seasons, David.
I don't have it. Like, I think I played PS3 like 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I didn't get super into the seasons until recently when I had nothing to do because of COVID. And I've just been like, again, you get the meta, get the set, get the, weapons and everything else you need. And you just try and push as high into the rifts, which are, randomly generated dungeons with...
Like a raid.
It's a raid, yeah. So you have randomly generated maps with random monsters, with random mobs, and then random elites. The higher you go into difficulty, so you have in D3 you have normal, nightmare, hell, inferno, torment, and then like torment goes from torment 1 to like 20. As a difficulty. So I'm on like torment, I think like 14 or something like that. So, you can have an elite that, will freeze you, summon duplicates of itself, shield from your damage. And it's just like really crazy. But so you'll just kind of like try and push further and further into different rift levels. So you can go from rift 1 to, I think, 150. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of just try and push further and faster is what the leaderboards are. So just like trying to get my, witch doctor geared out as much as I can. Working on a necromancer, working on a sorcerer right now. What's interesting is that Diablo 2, probably Diablo 1, had set genders for each of their characters. So, Amazon was a female. But it's just like, you can do the adventures and you can do the bounties as much as you want. But the main thing is, just trying to get through these random dungeons as much as you can.
The Vortex has kind of reminded me of Mementos from from P5.
Well, that's just
the Persona games.
That's just because you and I only think about P5 all the time.
I just think about all the Persona games all the time now. By the way, don't play 3. It's heavy.
I want to play the first one. I was like, what's early Persona? No, we're not. We're not talking about Persona, Nick. Stop it.
Shut it down. Lock it down. Lock it down.
Nate, you've been fairly quiet about Diablo 3.
Can we cut this?
Okay, I know you have strong feelings about the auction house and this and that, but straight up, as far as the gameplay loop and just the experience of playing Diablo 3, what was your thoughts on that?
It's a very different feeling from Diablo and Diablo 2 as compared to the actual look of it from the third-person point of view isn't the same. And it gives you a different vibe. The perspective is closer and more like in depth as compared to like a third person that you'd expect from one of these games, which is drawn out and more of like a coaching point.
It's a little closer, I think, to like ease in console gamers.
Yeah. And again, I'll go back to like Path of Exile. So I've been playing that since, I don't know, some of my friends are very into it. Like one of them is one of the leaderboard players, and he's in our guild, blah, 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 and he just drops shit in our stash. And that's how I plan my character. Like, he drops the best gear in our stash for a subpar character, and I play through the game with that stash. And it's like, I'm 100% okay with it, as compared to, like, what I would think Diablo 3 is, where it has that zoomed-in perspective, and it doesn't give me that competitive vibe that I'd like to think of. Whereas Path of Exile, like, I'll play through the entire game until I play through it until, like, whatever Act 8 or whatever the game has. Like, it has the same flaws, but you don't play through the same exact game multiple times. And then I'll just be like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to hit a leaderboard. I'm not competing. I don't really care. It was fun. I'm done.
And then, so new for Diablo 3 are cosmetics that you can farm, and I don't know if you can buy any yet, but you can get wings that go on your character.
I got wings somehow. I already got 2 sets of wings.
Do you have the
I have a
Mercy wings? Or
I don't put them on because I'm like, my guy looks cool. I don't want him to.
You're a barbarian, Brad. You always look cool.
And dude, he's got a good voice actor, which I've heard some of the voice acting is not great, but the barbarian voice actor is exquisite.
So I think it's the Crusader or the Monk is the actor that's Jorah Mormont on Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I'm gonna intercut some of that right here. I also have a pet that is a Starcraft ship or something.
So I think Brad's pet is the battle cruiser from StarCraft.
That would be it. Yeah.
And but it was like red instead of blue.
Does it have little friends that fly around it
No,
too?
no, not that.
And then from this
Maybe the Star
season,
Cruiser. It's the Terran
Starship.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Not the like cruiser from the
like
the Protoss
the
cruiser.
hammerhead looking.
Yeah,
thing?
that thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's
Battle
it.
cruiser.
And I'd be pretty embarrassed if it
is battle
wasn't.
cruiser.
So thanks for showing that.
Battle cruiser reporting.
From this season, when you go, or no, so it's the Darkening of Tristram event. When you go through the event, kill the butcher, you get a little mini butcher pet. It follows you around and picks up your gold.
That's goddamn cute.
It is cute.
like-
He follows me around and picks
one
up
of
my gold
those.
for me. So I guess there's something like, I think 30 different pets you can find. Some of them are through the regular kind of achievement sort of thing. Kill this boss on this level.
Log in
do
this week
thing.
and get 20 kills, and then you can have the treasure goblin pet.
Exactly.
Also, just buy 10 bags of Doritos and you can have it.
The Mountain Dew activation can.
Dude, you just get like a little Mountain Dew can that runs around and beats shit up.
I'll fucking take
It just shakes itself up and shoots at people. And it would sell, and it would be great. Diablo 3, for all of its things that people didn't like and actively were upset with, I think at its core is a good game. And I think it also, the story is fun. Like, it caters. It's like The Force Awakens is to Star Wars. It's like Disney was given access to an IP, and they did the most obvious, straightforward thing. And that's what Diablo 3 is. But that being said, the straightforward gameplay loop still works.
Yep.
And the straightforward, nostalgia-driven story still works because you're just hitting all the buttons and the characters that I like.
I think completely agree with Brad. It just totally caters to the person who's first time in Diablo, and it's just you want to make it casual, and you just want to hit it like a few buttons and not think too much about it. I'm going to hit the A button and the R button, and then my character's just going to destroy a bunch of demons, and you can just drop in and do this at a session at a time. I'll play maybe 20-30 minutes whenever, and it does drop out, and then just we'll be fine with it.
It does a thing too that I guess kind of maybe the more like the Mandalorian does, but with Diablo 3 they take these characters that if you played the original games, you know Adria, you know Deckard Cain,
Yep.
Yeah.
and King Leoric and the Skeleton King, and they introduced new players to these characters. And then if they wanted to go back, it's more interesting to them because, like, oh, I've seen this character.
I would say this. I honestly think that Diablo 3 is probably the easiest jumping point for the series.
Yeah.
Not only because you can play Diablo 3 and it is kind of the most approachable of the games, but then you can, I didn't know this until today, go back, play the Diablo 3 or the Diablo 1 experience within that engine, which means that you don't have to backtrack into an archaic engine and then go back and play the new remastered version of it because most people getting introduced to this series now probably will have a jarring effect going back and playing a game from the 90s.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the same experience though either because it's going to be the modern.
It won't.
Yeah,
You're
but
playing your D3 character in the Diablo skin.
It's like
it's like when someone says their story beats. Do you still get the?
It's literally you're going through.
Or is it just the dungeon?
The Darkening of Tristram event is the dungeon of Cathedral 1 through 16.
All right, retracted then. Play
I don't know.
Play
It's like-
Diablo 1, then play
Exactly.
Diablo 2, then play
Exactly.
Diablo 3.
And then they totally set themselves up for, through the Reaper of Souls for Diablo 4. Because they're like, all right, well, Malthael's got the Black Soul Stone. He's collecting all the demon souls in it.
I like
and then
that
it's going to break. And then everybody's going to get released again. Spoiler alert.
Nate, one last thought before we go to break here. Quick.
I think a remastered version of all of them with a fast forward would be fantastic. Diablo 1, 2, and 3, because even with the expansion of Diablo 2, you could release all those games in a quick expansion that you could play through super fast. And then with the outcome of the new Diablo 4, you could just have a starting character that essentially went through the first games, not maybe carrying their loot or anything along those, but your initial character that played through these games. Since, like, we have come so far in technological advancement that it could be very practical that you could just advance your character into the next game. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that you could
Think about playing your barbarian through every
Or
single
like
game.
not even your same barbarian, but like progeny, like you have your family line.
As long as he's always naked, I don't give a fuck. and on that
doesn't
note,
wear pants.
okay, so they were working on at one point a game called Project Hades in development. There's not much to say about it other than it is a canceled game that would have been Diablo done in the style of Dark Souls. It would have been over the shoulder camera rather than isometric, and it was briefly considered to be Diablo 4, but then it was getting distance from because it was too different, and then eventually it was completely canceled. Potential, of course, there's room in the Diablo universe for other styles of games, I think, to exist, but the fact that they were just like, it's the Dark Souls version, I don't like people just aping on one game, even though it deserves it.
Quite frankly, I'm very sick of Souls-like games because unless it's made well, it's not Souls-like. There are too many games coming out with literally Steam has a tag now that says Souls-like, and I'm just like, that's not. It's not though. If it's
This
not
is the Dark
difficult, if
Souls.
it's not like.
Sorry, you want to throw that little cat toy as far away as possible. It's like saying we're the Dark Souls of farming simulator games. Like, what do you fucking mean?
I would love that.
It'd be fun.
It'd be great.
Hell Farm?
The Combine is the toughest enemy in the game.
You recruit your Facebook friends to fight the demons.
honestly, yes.
I was gonna
Not
say
that I have Facebook,
like-
but yes.
I'm a little into it. Give me a grand strategy hell management game. But
Isn't that what Diablo 2's inventory system was?
There are two other games that we are aware of in development. Now, the one we're going to talk about first was announced in November 2018, and everyone was sitting there waiting for the fucking announcement of Diablo 4. And they announced a mobile game called Diablo Immortal.
ooh,
And yeah, the secret boo, like the secret mobile level. Everyone booed like a bunch of cows in a cow level.
Boo boo.
You guys have phones, right?
Boo. My favorite thing is that there's a Q&A afterwards, and some fan came up and was like, "Is this an April Fool's joke that's just a little out of season? Like, you're not serious, right?" But
I mean, they are known for it.
Yeah.
there is an upcoming MMO mobile game, free to play. The plot takes place between 2 and 3. Will feature a cross-player marketplace where players can buy and sell materials and gems, but not armor.
Oh,
Because that's
yeah.
what is the controversial thing.
That's the
Yes,
crossing
that's
line.
the problem.
Shit.
2 trailers received 342,000 dislikes to 27,000 likes,
Yep.
and 766,000 dislikes to 32,000 likes. It was a meme. I did watch a video about it today because they released one with the recent BlizzCon, and I mean, as far as a mobile game goes, I hate them, but this one looks playable, and it's got the point and click nature. It's stupid, and I hate mobile games. I don't know. I'm trying to I think the game looks like it plays fine, but it's nothing that anyone wants, and it's nothing that anyone needs.
Those 32,000 likes were all bots.
Brad, you're a beautiful soul. I love your optimistic mindset. Also, fuck mobile games.
No, I mean, if the only console I had was my cell phone and Diablo was on there, I could figure out a way to play that.
You can.
I also won't and never will, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it
You
doesn't.
could-
Yeah.
You could emulate something somehow to play, maybe Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games.
Yeah, I mean, it's so very obviously just like a mobile cash grab.
It really is.
How many of us would play Diablo 2 on our phone?
I don't play games on my phone.
Well, and
But so Diablo 2, like just going back and being like, I got nothing to do, like I'm at work, this or that, like I got my 5-minute break that you're talking about, and you point and click, like you can make that
go
like
crush the Den of Evils on Nightmare real
right,
quick.
like you can be at Diablo in 15 minutes, like this and that. I think Diablo 2 or all these games can be put on a mobile platform, and honestly, like
function, but if it's playable is one thing, but as a mobile game, it needs to be able to be played very incrementally at small points of time. And it needs to be crippling in how it tries to squeeze money out of you.
Mobile games do that. Mobile games just do that. It's part of their design, and they blast you with ads. They
stay a while and give us some money for your new skin.
You kill 5 demons and then an ad pops up and then
Take
it's
out
like,
that
Viagra.
Yes,
That was, by the way, that
5
wasn't
second
Deckard
ads.
Cain. That was Deckard Payne, his evil cousin.
I could use some Viagra. I'm a little bit old. What's that on your pussy? You got some mold?
Adria, no.
If you can convince that studio to sell the game at even $20, and it is just the hard copy of the game without any of the monetization, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
What do the controls look like? Is it going to be touchscreen?
it's point and click.
It's awful.
If you can
point and click
hotkey
with,
some of the certain skills you need,
Oh.
you could make. I could see it, and as someone who will swear, Final Fantasy Tactics on the iPad is the best fucking gaming experience because you can point and click at the little squares, and
I imagine Fire Emblem would function very well on that as well.
tactical RPGs are probably the
Space Hulk,
killer.
Warhammer 40k Space Hulk, where you're just a Terminator going like in different square grids, fighting Tyranids, flame throwing things. It's so cool on iPad, but like on a tiny little phone screen, I'm sorry.
so the scale, and I agree with all of this, is like it's terrible and this and that. Single player Diablo 2 on your phone is extremely possible. How many of us here who love that game would like to just fuck it? I don't want any of the market system. I don't care about anything of that. I just want the point and click of Diablo 2 on my phone is extremely achievable on today's processors and things.
100%.
who would like? I think the 30-somethings that we all are would love to just play that and not care about the market system or anything. Just give us the game.
It's the challenge of getting Blizzard, who is still a AAA developer, to release one of their IPs without being thirsty.
But that's why I have a Switch that can play Diablo 3, now Diablo Resurrected, and then Diablo 4.
Yes. And we all agree mobile games are stupid as fuck, but it's feasible. All right.
Moving forward.
Let's talk about Diablo 4 briefly, because we don't know too much about it. It's an upcoming sequel. It was announced November 2019 at BlizzCon. I know that open world and PvP are incorporated for launch. They say the areas will be 10 to 20 times larger than the biggest areas in D3.
It's not a good
Believe
thing.
it when I see it.
It's not. I agree with you 100%.
I don't think that's a positive.
The open world is fixed and not randomized.
Can you ride horses?
And it's a shared world, but not an MMO. Okay.
Welcome
So
to
they
metal version of World of Warcraft.
and they do have horses and steeds. You can like ride in. And
more cosmetics.
And you can jump off your horse to do an attack, or you can get knocked off your horse by enemies. But I think it's more of a way to like move around the map faster when you're not fighting, but then you immediately have to dismount.
That's called mounts.
Yeah, you're getting.
And do you know how much money Blizzard
fresh
has?
meat?
Do you know how much money Blizzard has made off of premium
great.
mounts?
I just think it's executed extremely poorly, as the concept of mounts is just you move through levels faster, whereas like it's a class attribute, which is also good, but it should never be solely focused around the mount, because
it could tie into like the rogue or something where you attack. One of your attacks is you throw knives or something while you backflip
you get a
off
sneak
your
attack
mount,
off of
something
it
like
or
that.
So-
or you're aiming your bow and shooting off your mount.
So we're getting mounts. We're getting the return of skill trees and attributes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really do love that.
3 new attributes
Depth.
being angelic, demonic, and ancestral power.
I'm going ancestral. Gotta go third power.
power.
I'm going demonic.
Fucking
I don't know
sell
what
your
you're doing.
soul.
I
Yeah.
knew you guys were going devil. That's why I'm trying to balance this shit.
Yeah.
And I can't go
Well,
angelic.
devil
It's
demon.
just
I mean, there's always
misrepresentative of me.
the
Doesn't work.
controversy there.
Doesn't work.
And I'm just never going to play it.
Skill trees are worth it.
Microtransactions for cosmetic items, and this will be an always online affair. Requires an internet connection.
Yeah, turdly.
Other media for does anyone else want to say
So-
about Diablo 4 or anything?
I mean, that last announcement was honestly the worst scenario you can get.
So was that just a confirmation that we're doing a Raw Dogs playthrough of Diablo 2 then instead?
No, I'd be more interested in 4.
I would be
2 is going to be like a very polished version, which will have its own controversies, but 4 will be new and worth discussion because it will piss some people off and make a lot of people happy.
So what are the classes we've seen so far in 4? I've seen Rogue, Barbarian.
Well, Rogue was announced a couple days ago.
Yep.
Before that, it was Barbarian, Sorceress, and Druid.
Yep. So we at least have kind of the original D1,
My big
D2.
Okay.
It's a mix of them with Druid being
fan
thrown in there
favorites
for some
almost.
odd
Yeah.
reason.
I think people wanted to see Druid back in D3, but it was like didn't work.
It was one of the most customizable for sure. And with the introduction of more depth in customizing your character with D4, I think that will benefit because you can actually up your like agility to be a cat druid or whatever it may be.
I'll World of Warcraft Druid.
Yeah.
So
hot damn.
I mean, I expect them to take inspiration.
Some other Diablo media. There was actually a Dungeons and Dragons Diablo edition release with a cow level expansion. There was 2 board
I
games.
need that in my life.
2 board games,
That's awesome.
including Diablo Chess and Diablo 3 Mahjong. 10 Diablo novels. There was a comic book and a comic book series separate there. There's a book series, which I've read 2 of. The Book of Cain, which is the lore of Diablos 1 and 2. Book of Tyrael, the lore of Diablo 3. And Book of Adria, the bestiary. And Heroes of the Storm is a crossover multiplayer-only battle arena for Windows and Mac, which features Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, and Overwatch characters. Blah, blah, blah. Closing thoughts on the video game series from Ryan. I'm going to read this before we get into the lore.
Yeah.
Ryan says, I haven't played Diablo 3 since the expansion came out, but when COVID lockdown started, I picked it up again since some of my friends were talking about playing it again. Since then, I have started each new season and played as every class. Necromancer is still the best, in my opinion. It's been a great stress reliever and a great way to stay in touch with some old friends. Really looking forward to Diablo 4.
Yeah.
I love it. I wish Necromancer was free. It would have encouraged me to go back to it.
They just got greedy. That's all it is. It's out of money.
So let us cleanse all of the gameplay from our systems. We're through the games.
Okay.
Long ago, there was nothing but a tiny little pearl. And in this pearl was the being Anu. This is the beginning of the fucking whole universe. Anu is the first being in Diablo. So Anu consisted of all good, evil, everything. So no, this isn't like the classic God, because God was pure good.
Yeah, more Iluvatar of Lord.
This is more Lord of the Rings for sure.
Yeah.
This is more Iluvatar. He wanted to expel all the evil from him inside of this pearl and created Tathamet.
Morgoth.
Tathamet, the seven-headed dragon, the seven heads being the like some random Maiar.
Everything just ties back to Lord of the Rings
D&D
here.
knockoff.
So.
I mean, D&D may or may not have taken some inspiration from the Lord of the Rings.
And
There was
H.R. Geiger.
So there was Anu who cast out his evil, and then there was Tathamet, the seven-headed dragon made out of all the negative shit. They battle each other for countless ages inside of this pearl. After millennia of battle, their conflict ends in a big bang. So this is kind of at the core, still adheres to at least how our universe would work. There was a big bang
Creation theory.
Yeah,
a creation theory, how things started. Their bodies exploded, and out of Tathamet's seven heads, the seven heads created the seven evils, the three prime evils, and the four lesser evils, which kind of, we talked about this earlier, seems a little arbitrary to say that some are prime and some are lesser, because the lesser ones spend much of this, like, the known history as the primary evils in hell.
The primary powers at the very least.
Yeah.
Well, the older brothers are like, you go off and do that shit.
Well, and I love the like narrative of it of Mephisto.
Yeah.
He's kind of the leader and head of all of it, and his entire plan was to
The head of it is that you laugh because that was a pun.
Well, I'm reading that, and I'm reading your notes on Imperius, and he's like, he's butthurt. And he couldn't dominate that demon ass. And I was like, he really was. Imperius was a punk ass.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, so
Sorry, going forward, Nick.
I actually wrote that, but Mephisto.
I read your outline, or most of it at least.
I describe Imperius.
Skimmed it.
I describe Imperius as having the fatal flaw of pride.
Yeah.
When Tyrael created a pact between the heavens and hells, he was butthurt. He couldn't dominate that demon ass. Which is true. He's just like, I just like killing demons, dude. I can't even do it. This is fucking stupid, dude. Are you stupid?
Imperius the
I
Chad.
always appreciate
he's
those
the Chad.
notes because it brings me out of like the narrative, and I'm like, oh yeah, remember this is like okay.
To bring it down, like a real level. Their bodies exploded and created the seven evils and the burning hells is what happened out of Tathamet. And then you have, when Anu explodes, he forms
his spine creates an arc.
the crystal arc,
Yes.
which is what heaven is kind of built on. And then also the world stone is the eye of Anu. And it's luckily it wasn't plural, the eye of Anus.
Anus.
Yeah, because I've seen some brown eyes before. Am I right?
No.
Fresh meat.
Nope.
We just need like a sound clip that we can just plug in. Just a button.
Why do you think he says it every time?
So the three prime evils and the four lesser evils, and there's the Angiris Council, which is the high heavens. All angels are born out of the crystal arc, and there is a set amount of angels that can be created out of a new existence. And Imperius is kind of in charge, the Archangel of Valor. Tyrael is the Dude of Justice, who becomes big
Coolest dude.
Yep.
There's a few other ones.
Dick.
BDE.
Malthael is the one probably that's got the most interesting arc because he becomes an angel that ultimately has a pretty big fall.
Yes.
Reaper.
And we don't need to talk too much about like the individual ones. We can. I mean,
I like the wisdom archangel just
Raphael.
because
He's the most
just because
confusing.
well,
yeah.
When it said that because he has
And
the
also, I think that
Chalad-Ar.
4 is going to have something to do with him.
Yeah, there'll be implications after Reaper of Souls.
Yeah.
He's got the Chalice of Wisdom, which contains living light that allows Malthael to see the web of connectivity that binds all things. It is said he spends years straight just staring constantly into the chalice, seeing how things are related.
He doesn't speak often, but when he does, people listen.
And also, if you just like spend way too much time thinking about how the world works, like you're gonna get fucked. Like you just need to have fun and just like go to
It's
Chuck E.
true.
Cheese. Just go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Is he like that episode of Rick and Morty where Morty gets like the crystals stuck in his head? It's in the future, and he's like, Jessica, I gotta do these things to die with my love, Jessica, who doesn't really love me. That's all Malthael is, and then he just becomes a little emo
sad boy.
girl.
That's 100%
That's
what
what
it
it
is.
is. So
So yeah, there's the Angiris Council. Tyrael is the one who's the most important. There's a couple other angels that are just kind of like fine. And there's the 7 primevals: Diablo, Baal, who is the Lord of Destruction, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred.
Baal.
They all have like very profound how much they love people to not feel good.
Yeah,
And we don't need to get too much into necessarily all of it.
but it is very specific to like they will, to the point of self-harm, obsess over their specific sin, which I find interesting and a unique characteristic that you don't see very often. Generally, the devils or whatever we're referring to these as, they are obsessed with inflicting it on others. Duriel is the one that
Tyrael is pain.
it is, yes, the Lord of Pain, and in the absence of others will actually torture himself.
Oh man, like you're too hardcore.
so metal.
It's so metal. It's so
It feels very like between 7 Deadly Sins and Warhammer 40K, where you have like the legions of chaos. And I'm blanking right now, but like one of them is like, we will change ourselves to like be these beings that we can like inflict pain on ourselves and other people. And it's just like
That's just the legions of
the
chaos.
Sinch.
yes.
Yeah.
The Sinch,
well,
they just like,
And
they just will fuck themselves up to no end to just
and I think that people try to. It's very easy to try and say, like the chaos and the people that revel in the negative things are just bad guys, and like the angels who just want like justice and order and clarity are
They're
good.
not good.
And we find out very quickly though, like just because you want order and justice, it doesn't mean you're always going to act in the most moral, like correct way.
Diablo scrapes at the grimdark idea of nothing is truly good. Like everything has a dark side, that type of thing. Which it's a storytelling trope that actually started in Warhammer. But yeah, it definitely has that thing where like angels are not saints; they're just celestial beings.
The principles. They live as principles.
Yeah.
It's like,
Conflicting principles
Yes.
against
yeah, very much so. Like justice is not the same as righteousness.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Goodness
and wisdom.
isn't-
Wisdom is not always the right thing. Yeah, I
Goodness
remember.
is not represented.
So these two bodies that destroyed when the Big Bang happened created the burning hells and the high heavens. And there was an event called the Eternal Conflict. At the epicenter of reality is Pandemonium. It is the scar of the universe's violent birth. It's kind of like a between the two areas. And the Eye of Anu exists in the center, in the heart of creation of Pandemonium. This massive jewel they call the World Stone. It's a mountain-sized object which allows whoever controls it to create life, alter reality, the foundation of all places and times, the nexus of realities. And this is what the eternal conflict is fought over. The high heavens and the burning hells for forever. This is what they fucking fight over because they want to control it so they can create more of each other or more of themselves. But what I probably dig most about the lore of Diablo is how it retells the story of humanity. Whereas, in popular Christian religions, we are just like some little god bitches who get upset, and we just like take our ribs and run away and like
I'm gonna eat an apple.
We're like, I'm gonna eat that fucking apple. And
That snake told me so.
well, but instead, humanity is ultimately born from an angel and a demon working together, like
Rebelling.
How much, like, we're in between these two realms, and we have the capacity for both things. It's such a better origin story for what humans are.
Yeah.
is that we're half demon, half angel.
It's very deep.
I love it.
It is the mixture of all facets. Yeah.
So, Lilith is a demon,
Nephilim.
Mephisto's daughter, and he's so into like pain and pissing people off. And so he's not nice to his daughter. She's like, fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna date an angel. And
So
you said I couldn't, but I'm
typical
gonna date him.
teenager,
Yeah.
rebellious.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very relatable.
In the human aspect of it, like, fuck you, Dad.
Goes to date the exact opposite of what your dad would want an angel.
You better not fuck him. I'm gonna fuck his
I'm gonna
brains
fuck him
out.
and make this Nephilim baby.
We're gonna have humans.
Do you think angels only do it missionary with the lights off?
No. No,
Is that how
isn't
they
that
are?
supposed to be like eternal bliss?
Northern Wisconsin. Never mind.
No, Malthiel has looked way too long into the wisdom. He's like,
He's looking in the chalice and is like,
What do you think he's staring at the whole
it's
time?
all
It's just
porn.
different porn.
He's watching people bang.
he's looking at the brown world stone.
The brown stuff.
The brown stone.
Oh, that sounds never mind. Never mind.
So,
Anyways.
Anarius is the angel and Lilith is the demon. They grow disillusioned after just fighting for thousands of years. They're like, maybe we should get Mario Kart instead.
Maybe she get a divorce.
Maybe we should get Mario Party.
Like, literally any other game.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Because all they've been doing is fighting. They decide to run away and steal the World Stone together. Somehow they're able to. With the World Stone, they create Sanctuary, which is the mortal realm.
Hidden away.
Anarius creates this hidden paradise, and they start fucking. And then other angels and demons that run away start fucking as well. And eventually, there's a lot
Sounds like
of
the worst.
what they call the Nephilim, which is the third essence.
The product of baby fucking.
The first generation of Nephilim are called the Ancients, and modern game classes all have their like origins from like the ancient barbarian, the ancient Amazon, the ancient.
So the Nephilim
clan-
are the protagonist.
They're
These aren't the protagonists yet for a long time.
No, but in general,
But yeah,
They
we
we
create
are the
characters.
Nephilim, or at least ancestors of Nephilim.
well,
Your powers come
So, like,
from
the first
ancestral
encampment
god.
in-
one at a time. Sorry. Yeah.
the first encampment in Diablo 2 is the Rogues Camp, which is like that clan. The last encampment in the expansion of Diablo 2 is the Barbarian Society, which is another one of those offshoots. And like all of these characters come from it. Even I choose to believe even the protagonists in Diablo 1 of who becomes Bloodraven, the rogue, what is it, the summoner, who is the sorcerer, as well as the fighter who is eventually the wanderer.
Yeah. Yes, the Nephilim are created. Sanctuary is created. Heaven and hell are not aware of this, and things exist for a while unaware. There was an event called the Purge, not the film.
It kind of worked
Ethan Hawke?
that way, though.
Wait, Ethan Hawke was in Diablo?
That was a joke.
Some followers of Anarius feared that the Nephilim would rise up and become too powerful. They sought to destroy him. Lilith was an angry-ass mom the moment her kids were threatened, and she killed the shit out of all of Anarius' followers. And Anarius then had to make a decision to banish his girlfriends. Like she becomes banished. We won't see her for a while. Anarius has to then take the World Stone, and he takes a lot of the powers away from the Nephilim because he doesn't want them to have the demon angel powers. So he's trying to just make them as neutered as possible. Some ancient civilizations happen. Humans are settling, like Kyrgyzstan and Rathma's followers and Vasily's followers from like Skaskland and some jungles. They settle some areas, and that's great.
Perfect pronunciation. We totally know how to say these names.
Loved it.
Okay, I said it way wrong.
No. I don't know how to say them.
Okay.
I like legitimately. I do the exact same thing where I'm just like.
The most important settlement is Kyrgyzstan. The mages settle there, and then they split into different mage clans: the Vizjare, the Ennead, the Amuit, who specialize in conjuring and enchantments and illusion, respectively. But okay, so there's this city of mages.
Yes.
And there's this guy named Jere Harash.
Do they piss on their robes?
Rick and Morty Jerry.
Well, his name
is supposed to be like Gerard, like whatever.
It's Jerry.
No,
It's the first sorcerer
Jere?
from the game,
well,
right?
it's spelled
Jere?
It's spelled Jere space Harash.
Sure.
It's
close enough.
He accidentally unleashes hell. He's just like
I mean, he just found a demon.
everyone says like he's just a really shitty mage and no one likes him. He's terrible at everything.
This is why we don't bully people, folks.
Yeah.
Well, and this one
Jere
guy,
Harash.
he had some family members killed and he got so pissed off. He reached out as many of the Vizjerai had attempted before, but for some reason he invited a spirit into Sanctuary. He didn't realize it was a spirit of hell. All of a sudden he opens a portal. Fucking Jerry.
Fucking Jerry.
Jere Harash here. Dude, and to Jerry's credit, he's like, oh,
I fucked up.
I think that was bad.
Hey, I'm in the big boy leagues.
He realizes this shit was evil. He chains up the demon, which just sounds like a good movie. He's like accidentally summons a demon. First thing he does is like chain it up and he runs to his.
It's like a Bruce Willis movie.
And he's like runs to the principal like, I did something.
I fucked up real bad.
So we were joking about it sounding like Jerry from Rick and Morty, but now it really does sound like
really.
Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Hey Rick, I summoned a demon. Rick.
Could be the same.
Oh,
could be
man.
the same thing.
It might actually be Jerry from a different reality.
Oh shit!
Even though Jerry sucks.
It's all tied together.
Jerry sucks in every reality.
Sorry. Anyways, getting back to Diablo.
Well, I mean, then we have Jerry. So this happened, and the Vizjerai and tweeted us, please, because I am not pronouncing
Vazjiri?
Vizjiri?
They decided, like, Jerry, this is okay, but we're gonna take what happened and use it. So they decided to keep this a secret from all the other mages and all the other people in the world. And they just keep summoning demons to try and learn more about what's going on. And eventually, a religion is formed because they don't realize these demons are pure fucking evil. These long-tongued, red-skinned, evil assholes. And they form the Triune, which is a seemingly altruistic religion that worships three benevolent spirits. There's Dialon, the spirit of determination, Diablo. Mephis, the spirit of love, Mephisto. And Bala, the spirit of creation, Baal.
By By the way, those are all the opposites of their epitaphs.
Which
Yeah.
which
I
makes
was about
sense.
to say.
Yeah, no.
I mean-
As far as deceit and stuff like that goes, yes.
It can be respectfully understood in the reverse. Like
Twisted, you know?
terror, destruction,
Yes,
creation.
I
like,
create destruction. I
Dylan.
I want everything.
Dylan.
This religion creates the Grand Temple of Kajan, and were so insistent that they were peaceful that they created warriors called peace warders.
Yep.
We don't like war.
Yes.
This is our army.
Who's our peace?
Yeah.
We're against war, so we're the warders.
Welcome to the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody was expecting the
Jesus Christ.
Spanish Inquisition.
Let's not go to actual reality.
All right. Well, we have enough time, so we're going to talk about Uldyssian.
Uldyssian.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Your boy.
I named this title of this chapter, Uldyssian Doesn't Like Religion.
That's fair.
So Anarius wandered sanctuary and eventually becomes fond of humans. He recognizes the Triune as evil, and he creates his own religion, the Cathedral of Light, in opposition to them. There is then what they call the Sin War, which isn't a physical war, but essentially a battle for the souls of humanity. And this motherfucker named Uldyssian comes up, and one day just like, you know what? Religion is bullshit. Like, all of them. All of it's stupid. We live a mortal life. Just be moral with each other. Be cool. Like, fuck your Cathedral of Light. Fuck your Triune. I've had enough. And right when this happens, he has like a superhero journey where he discovers he has all these superpowers when he realizes religion's stupid. While he was protecting a woman from getting raped by a priest.
Wow. Sounds accurate.
No, she's not a child, you asshole.
She's of age.
She was
damn.
18.
She was
And
18.
also a woman.
Ouch.
He so then he spreads the word around the world and awakens Nephilim powers in others. Eventually, so it turns out the woman he protected from rape was Lilith, the demon who helped create humans. Humankind then discovers the World Stone. Uldyssian uses it to further empower the Nephilim. Tyrael then brings the forces of the high heavens down to help Anarius to try and stop the burning hells and to stop the rising of the Nephilim. Uldyssian says, fuck you to both of them. This guy,
Such a human move.
dude, he banishes the demons back to hell and the angels back to heaven. He's like, fuck both of you.
This is my shit.
And then, realizing that the power he had was too dangerous, he chooses humanity over godhood, takes the Nephilim powers and diminishes them and explodes himself. And he's like, no one should have this power. No one's going to be as moral as me. This is dangerous. So he ends like the power of the Nephilim. Like, Uldyssian, not the hero we need or deserve, but the guy with the biggest dick for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying Uldyssian did a lot of like, he has a lot of
He definitely had some
energy.
BDE,
Yeah, some BDE
going
for
on
sure, yeah.
when he was like, fuck you guys, I'm going to just win the Sin War.
Fuck you, you're going home.
So, like, fuck it all, I'm going home.
I'm just saying, I'm ready to play a God of War style Diablo 0 as Uldyssian.
You are.
Holy
You're going
cow.
to save a woman, aka demon woman, from being raped by a priest, and then just destroy both angels. I kind of see you on that one. Like, just fuck up angels and demons.
Dude, it's
Like it matters.
Darksiders.
Wait, I think that's actually a game called Diablo. So that might already be existent.
So Tyrael, witnessing the utterly giant member of Uldyssian, he's like, he realizes, well, he witnessed the selfless act of humanity, and he's like, humans fucking rock, dude. They're so cool. I like them, dude. I'm gonna get their second album. And he begun, like, that's when he begins to bend his strict following of the rules of heaven. He's like, I need to make sure the humans are okay. And then this was also when a truce was struck between heaven and hell. Anarius was, well, there was a truce that, like, we're going to stay away from the affairs of sanctuary, but the agreement also involved Anarius being given to hell for eternal torment and mutilation.
Are we going to see that in Diablo 4?
Goddamn weak exchange.
Well, Diablo.
We don't know.
What we know about Diablo 4 is that cultists are going to resurrect Lilith, the lady demon who is the mother of all humanity.
Yeah.
That's all we know so far. And there are mounts, and you can sometimes jump around the terrain.
On Lilith.
By the way, jumping on terrain, one of my favorite Blizzard activities because you can break the game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, but it's not like a set jump button. It is certain areas you can jump down, or certain it's programmed.
It's,
which is
Pokemon jumping.
So it's a it's a hallway with interaction.
It's Pokemon jumping.
Yeah, it is Pokemon. It is. All right, we'll do one more before we have to end this episode. Yep. The Mage Clan Wars, otherwise known as We Promise We Won't Summon Demons Again. The Mage Clan summoned demons again.
Psych.
Perfect.
Got him. Segue. Everyone that wasn't in the Viz Jerry was pissed off because they said they wouldn't summon demons again. There was a giant fucking battle. And naturally, the people that summon demons... Like, they've already well, we already took away some health care and we're taxing people, so we're just going to double down on it. We're going to have a fucking riot at the Capitol. Yep, and it's well, we're already this far. Fascism's kind of back.
Hey, but I believe in strong men.
Yeah. And speaking of strongmen, there's Horizon and Bartuk. They are two brothers. Bartuk is the warlord of blood. Bathed in the blood of his enemies and was going a little cuckoo.
So Corn.
Yeah. Horizon realized his brother was on the brink of ruin and sought to stop his brother or all of civilization would be destroyed. So these brothers had a civil war with each other in the middle of the battle. Thankfully, this happened. Otherwise, they probably would have won.
As you do.
And it destroyed hundreds of thousands in a city, but eventually after this, the mages are hated by everyone. There was the dark exile in hell. The lesser evils rose up, and the thing is about hell, no one works together. And so two of the lesser evils decided it would be beneficial for them to work together to push three of the prime evils out, and they were banished to Sanctuary, and we'll pretty much leave it as there, but Azmodan and Belial has control.
Let's just leave it there.
And as soon as this happens, they turn on each other, or perhaps are in a long con together. We don't know at this point, but we're going to leave this episode there. This is a Patreon exclusive, unless you're hearing it much later. We're going to talk a little bit more, for maybe 20 more minutes, which will be completely Patreon exclusive. If you want to hear us talk about the lore of the main game, way too drunk, and not focused at all.
Patreon exclusive.
It's Doggies After Dark. And we're going to do that, but for non-Patreon supporters, thank you for listening. For Patreon supporters, you're much better looking than the non-Patreon supporters.
You're so cute.
You're so cute. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're Hair the Dogcast. We're on Twitter at Hot Dogcast. If you would like to choose episode topics, you can do that by supporting us at the $10 tier on Patreon. We'd love to have you. And if you want to get these episodes early, right away, if you're listening to it right away, you already know what you're doing. But support us on Patreon. We love you. And also, we're part of the Greenlit Podcast Network, so check everything else out. We are not as drunk as we could, but we're on our way. And Deckard Cain rapped, and Uldyssian's got a big member, and Jere Harash should not be allowed to practice magic anymore.
Outro.
Patreons,
Jere Harash.
Stay a while and listen.
Thanks for supporting us. We'll see you next time. Thanks.